So we got the final series coming up, and you know, the next weekend, we've just had our bye weekend. Huge series coming, huge final series. But first I figured I would take you through 5 of the most memorable games that I've been to as a supporter. This is at the ground, not games that I've seen, not like the 2005 grand final or whatever like that. Just games I've been to that have been extremely memorable in my head for whatever reason. So let's go. The first one you should all recall was last year, the Tigers playing against the Sydney Swans. Sam Lloyd kicked the goal after the siren. I mean, this was a game I had no expectations going in. I think we were 1-6 at the time. 1-5 or 1-6. Something ridiculous. We'd lost 6 in a row, I think, going into this game. And I think the previous week before, we'd played Hawthorn. We were actually pretty close for 3 quarters and we lost by 70 points. But in that game the week before, I was like, there's something brewing here. There's definitely something brewing. And so the next game, we come up against the Swans. This is a huge game of momentum. 4 goals one way, 4 goals the other way, 3 goals one way, 3 goals the other way. It was just constantly changing as to who was in front and who was going to storm in whichever direction. Take the last quarter, for example. The Swans led it by 3 goals at 3/4 time, and I thought, there's no chance Richmond is going to come back. It would have been like our biggest comeback in 15 or 16 years or whatever, and we were 1-6. We just lost 6 in a row. There's no chance we were going to come back from this. And within 5 minutes, we'd kicked 5 goals at the start of that final term. It was just an unbelievable scene to witness, and you go, okay, we have a chance at winning this now. Griffiths had just kicked his 5th goal, 4 goals or something, and you thought, geez, Richmond, they look the goods. Then all of a sudden, here come the Swans once again, and they kick the next 4 goals of the game. As I said, huge momentum game, so it swings back. They lead it by 10 or 11 points or something. They lead it by 11 points with 5.5 minutes to go. Enter Ben Griffiths. Rioli kicks it down to him. Oh, I think it was a handball from Rioli or Jack. They were both super clean in this contest. Gets down there, helmet head race between the 2 boys with the helmets on or whatever, Teddy Richards and Ben Griffiths. You could see him striding out to get this ball. Benny Griffiths picks it up, kicks the dribbling goal from about 30 out. I was thinking, why would you dribble kick it? But it went through. And so here I am, I'm sitting in the stands, radio in my ear, thinking, every minute just keeps ticking by, and I keep thinking, are we a chance? Are we a chance? Are we a chance? I can see the scoreboard. It's just 5 points. A huge rundown chase from Brandon Ellis in defensive 50. Saves a goal, a certain goal. And then someone runs down Mills or something, and you just thought, okay, we're a chance. There's still 2 minutes on the clock at this point. Again, time ticks down, ticks down. There's 30 seconds to go, and we've just turned the ball over on the wing. I thought, no, that's it. We've had our chance. And then all of a sudden, as the radio is screaming, 15 seconds through the air, the ball bounces to Jack Rewalt. He takes it on. Handball, kicks it over the top to Griffiths. And I said, if the siren's going to go on anyone, Griffiths would be the only one that can kick it from there. Anyway, he goes up the top, and the mark was taken by Sam Lloyd. My God. And then it was just Lloyd. And I was a little worried here because he had a shot from about 50 on a little earlier in the game, maybe in the start of the last quarter, and it like just made the distance or something. So I was a little worried that he was going to make the distance. I thought I'd back him in for and even accuracy too. He missed one from 15 out. Not a lot of angle as well in the previous term. So history wasn't with him at this stage. And then all of a sudden, I just blacked out at this moment because I realised the siren had gone and this is the kick to win the game. I mean, when you're there, you forget it. Like, you forget it. You forget what's going on. So I grabbed the camera as soon as I could. I was like, holy shit, what's going on? I was not looking at anything. I didn't look at the big screen. Didn't want to know how close the kick was to going through. Didn't look at the big screen. Didn't look at anything. Was looking at the cheer squad. Because that was going to tell me if we'd won the game or not. And as the ball is travelling through I'm on the complete opposite pocket. As the ball's travelling through the air, I see the flags of the cheer squad rise. The crowd starts to cheer. Lloyd had kicked the goal after the siren. And I literally went bananas at the G, as BT said. It was one of those moments you will never forget because I was at the ground for like 25 minutes afterwards. On just this intense high of just, yes, we've done it. I mean, we did bugger all the rest of the season, but I didn't give a stuff because I was at this game. And it was awesome. It was purely awesome. Gee, that took me way too long to explain. Alright, I'll be much quicker with the next few. The next one is the Dreamtime Game of 2007 or 2008. Essendon and Richmond. I think the Tigers went down by 8 points in this one. It was actually less than that, but I think Lloyd kicked a big torp after the siren to make it 8 points. But this was the infamous hands in the back game. The infamous hands in the back game. Where apparently, well, I mean, it was totally a free kick. Richo's giving Mal Michael a big in the back shove, taking the mark. We're down by 2 points at this stage. 29 minutes gone, 30 minutes gone in the final term. We're screaming, go, go. I might have been 13, 14 at this stage. Just get down there, Richo. Just kick the bloody goal. He runs on. He kicks the goal. And then all of a sudden, the umpires paid a push back there. They paid 50 the other way. The Bombers ended up winning about 30 seconds later. It wasn't great. But I just remember Richo being super annoyed about it, and he's still filthy about that game. The rule hadn't been in very long. They either brought it in mid-season or at the start of the year. It wasn't in very long when it happened, and the umpires were still cautious on what they were and weren't paying. I don't reckon he touched him. The next one is the Richard Tambling debut game, and this is a NAB challenge game. This is a Wizard Cup game, I'm pretty sure, back in like 2000 and something, 2004, 2005. And I remember Richard Tambling made his debut. He looked pretty good too. We were pretty excited about it. It was the Tigers. We played Collingwood. We lost by 4 or 5 goals. And I remember reading the newspaper the next day, and it was like, you know, Pies get the win, but this kid can play. And they were talking about Tambling and how he done. I mean, he had 20-something touches and maybe kicked a couple of goals. He looked pretty good. MCG was under construction at this point, so it makes me think 2005, 2006. Because I do remember that when it was all under construction. And I remember they used to have pre-season games at the MCG. They did. They totally did. Because I remember we were there. No, it was 100% at the MCG. They used to have pre-season games there. I don't know what they were doing with the cricket at that stage then, if that's why we can't play there now. But basically, I remember Tambling, he was a pretty good player at the beginning of his career. I mean, it went downhill pretty there, and now it's sort of a banned word in most Richmond family households. But I just remember reading the newspaper the next day, and it said, this kid can play. And we thought, gee, this is actually a decent draft that we've done. Didn't work out that way. What did it? Now, I haven't been to many neutral games ever. That's the end of that statement. So the next one is, of course, another Richmond game. The next one is a season opening game. It was the Tigers and the Blues. I think it might have been 2014. And we were never good against Carlton. We just lost the elimination final against them the previous year. And, you know, you thought, what are Richmond doing? Like, if we lose again, it's probably all over for our next little run and patch of things. And so 2014, incredibly good game. We're up by 5 goals at 3/4 time, and you go, come on, Richmond. Don't do a Richmond. In before Carlton kicked 5 goals, 17 or whatever in the last quarter. They missed so many opportunities. I think they kicked 4 or 5 behinds in a row at one stage to get back in this game. And I don't think they ever hit the front, but they did get a run on. I remember Griffiths taking a good mark, or a nice defensive mark in the last 30 seconds or whatever, and he kicks it long down the line, and we're up by a goal at this stage. And I go, come on, don't mess it up, Richmond. Seriously. The ball goes along the wing. I think Lambert gets it out to someone, or Shane Tuck. No, he's retired. Anyway, the ball goes along the wing, ends up 1-on-1, Tui versus Dustin Martin, and I knew there wasn't very much long left at this stage. Dusty just in a glorious 1-on-1, pushes him away, picks it up, spins him around, kicks a dribble goal, and I knew Richmond had won at that stage. And that was a pretty memorable game. I was pretty happy with that one. I mean, it wasn't like a fantastically close game or anything like the Lloyd one, but it was still pretty memorable to be at, I suppose. The Tigers and the Blues in the 2013 elimination final clocks in at my number 1 spot, or I don't even know. This isn't really a list, is it? This is the biggest thing I think I've ever been to. I think nothing tops this in terms of sporting events that I've been to, apart from the only thing that comes close is being at the Commonwealth Games in 2006 for the first day of the athletics, when the marathons were on, and I remember there was an Aussie in the marathon. Aussie won gold in the marathon in the women's, McCann or someone, and I just remember we were row double X or whatever on level 4, so we're we're like second row from the back at this point. Second row from the back. There was 100,000 people in the MCG absolutely screaming. And that's probably the loudest noise I've ever heard. But this comes very, very close, if not louder. These are 95,000 or there's 95,000 or something supporters at this game. Incredible turnout. Elimination final, Richmond Carlton. And I remember in the last quarter when the Blues came back from Richmond's big lead, that there was just this noise, this constant noise. It was just chanting from both sides, because I think Marich might have just kicked the most insane goal you'll ever see a big ruckman kick, with Tigers down by 10 points at this stage, late in the last term too, mind you, to get us back in it. The crowd had erupted. There was probably 65,000 Tiger supporters, maybe the other 30,000 were Carlton supporters, or 60-35. Something like that. It was pretty much majority Richmond at this game. There was the two loud chants I could hear from both ends. I'm pretty much centre wing on AFL members wing, and all you're hearing in your ear is Richmond, Carlton, Richmond, Carlton. And it's the loudest noise I think I've ever heard ever. It's insane. It was an extraordinary noise that I don't think I will experience again unless I'm at a grand final, or unless Richmond plays a big team in a final this season that I get to go to. Gee, there was some passion at that game, and I don't really remember that game as well as I probably should, because we should have won, but I remember it just for the noise and the atmosphere, because it was seriously one of the best atmospheres I've ever been at, and it was crazy good. But anyway, that rounds out my top 5, or my 5 memorable AFL games I've been to list. Let me know what you think. What were your, what are the most memorable games you guys have been to? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Looking forward to the finals this week. Come the Tiggies.